Well, good morning or afternoon, depending on when this thing gets uploaded. It's morning right now. By the time you get to see it, though, it could be afternoon. Anyway, welcome to another QVA question video answer session. You ask the questions, and I sit here and answer them. Just a programming note. Tomorrow, I think Mark Rivera and I are going to try and do a Google Hangout. It's on Google Plus. If you're on Google Plus, maybe you know what they are. If you're interested in signing up for Google Plus, basically a hangout is a bunch of people on their webcams chatting with each other, and Mark and I will kind of do like a QVA over there, only it'll be both of us at the same time, and then whoever wants to join us on on the Google Hangout, Google Plus Hangout. And I think Mark is going to be putting some stuff up on his Facebook page that I will share later today or tomorrow about how you can sign up for Google Plus and do a hangout and all that. Just we did one a while back, and just want to try it again, see if we can expand on our social media reach or whatever. You know, it's kind of our business, what we do. Anywho, questions. Here we go. First question. Thanks, a lot of questions this time. I hope we'll try to get through all of them. Adrian, you may have answered this already, but what is your favorite part of your job? I answered this yesterday. We had a group of high school kids come in from a technical academy in Decatur. And one of the kids asked me what the best part of the job was, and I told him that it was doing stuff like that. You know, talking to students or people is very cool. Most of what we do, I think, in life boils down to connecting with other people. I just kind of believe that we're here for each other. And, being on camera at any given point, it's just a few people in the room, and you're talking to a box that gives you literally nothing back. But one of the better parts about the job is when we can interact and actually get out and connect with people. And I love, it's people are people, and we're people, you're people, we're all people, and I like connecting with people. That's the favorite part of the job, because this particular job, for whatever reason, gives some unique. I'm getting kind of throaty today. Gives you some unique opportunities to meet people, interesting people. Good question. Amy, how did you get to be so cool? Who said anything about me being cool? I have no idea. I don't know if I can answer that. Am I cool? I don't know. I try not to judge people, and I try to treat people the way I like to be treated most of the time. And if that makes me cool, then good. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm that cool. I mean, look, I'm wearing a Star Wars T-shirt. Is that cool? Last time I did a QVA, I was wearing a Chewbacca t-shirt. Is that cool? I don't know. That's stretching it. Thanks for the compliment, though. That's how I'll take it. Sarah, do you get along with all of your coworkers? Well, I will say this. Historically, when I was younger, I may have been difficult at times. I'm trying to think of current coworkers. I think I get along with everybody. Everybody that I did not get along with isn't there anymore. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but now I think I get along with everybody. I mean, it can be a stressful work environment at times because it's live TV, and that people get tweaked or whatever for whatever reason. And sometimes you have little blow-ups with people. I had one yesterday that, it started how it started wasn't necessarily my fault, but I was having a bad day yesterday. I think this other person may have been having a bad day, and we just kind of collided, and an issue happened that wasn't my doing. I didn't react to it the way I should have, and just made it worse. And you have a little blow-up. But I think that's very normal. But overall, yeah, I happen to think I do. You might ask my coworkers that. I like to kind of poke at people, and have some fun. If you watch us in the morning, I'll throw a dig at Mark or Samantha or whatever, and then they'll throw one back. And that's kind of the attitude or whatever, the personality we've developed in the morning. And I'm a lot like that in person. I'm always kind of digging at my friends, and they're digging at me. And some people don't interpret that the way it's meant. But I think overall I get along with my coworkers. Yeah, all of them. I can't think of anybody right now, as of people that work with us today, that I don't get along with. Been maybe a couple recently that aren't with us anymore, but people move on to their own thing, so whatever. Katie, knowing that you are a music lover, what are your top 5 favorite albums? Oh my gosh. White Album? That's the Beatles, by the way. Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads, I think it was the tribute album, is up there. I don't know that it has a name per se, but Pachelbel Canon, any classical album that has that on it. I'm a Canadian Brass had one with the Pachelbel Canon on it. It's my favorite classical song. Although a close second is Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, but I digress. Two more. Boy, it'd have to be Sgt. Pepper's, not to go double Beatle on you, but I'm going double Beatle on you. Sgt. Pepper's, and another, probably Pink Floyd, The Wall. As far as albums, I have pretty eclectic music tastes, but as far as actual albums, a couple of them I even have on vinyl. Yes. Betty, good question. Betty, have you ever seen a tornado? Not in person. I've been very close to one, I think, but it was rain covered. A lot of our tornadoes in this part of the country are rain covered, which means it's just covered in rain. Literally, you can't see it. I think I was very close to one once, but I couldn't see it. I would love to. I would. They're awe-inspiring. Not always in a good way, obviously. Stephanie, what should I make for supper tonight? The other night, Faye made this quinoa chicken casserole that is fantastic. It has broccoli in it and quinoa, which was kind of like a grainy little thing. It's really good for you, and chicken, and it was fantastic. You might Google that or go to, Pinterest or whatever, where all those recipes are. Look for it. It's good. It doesn't take long to make. I don't think it's too hard. I don't know what your level of cooking is, but I think that's what you should make, Stephanie. If there's family involved, they'll dig it, even the kids. Erica? Ooh, interesting spelling for the name, by the way. I've seen it before. I don't think I've told you that. Erica, what causes a tornado to touch down? Technically, it's not a tornado unless it touches down, but I don't want to get into semantics. Basically, it's a twisting, rising, what ends up as a column of air. So the air comes in. You have to have the right wind signatures and profiles. Has to be twisting. There has to be instability, so it rises. But it takes a specific set of elements to come together. You have to have wind, twisting, and rising, and that creates the tornado. And it creates the low pressure. It's like suction, and that's what pulls everything up. I hope that answers your question. Carrie, when you're out and about, do people ever stop you and want to talk weather or ask you for autographs? 2 questions. I'll give them to you. It happens once in a while. Not so much the autographs. Once in a while, kids, will do autographs, which is fine. And once in a while, an adult will, which is always weird and cool because I've never quite gotten used to that, But it's not like we're national at WA&D or anything, but there's a flattery to it that's kind of like, oh, that's cool, nice. And stop and talk about the weather, and I joke that I joke about it, but it actually, when people stop and make weather jokes and stuff, it is pretty cool. It's better than nobody saying anything. If they talk to you, no matter what they say, it means at least they know who you are, which is kind of what our job is, to get out there. Do you ever feel annoyed? If so, haven't yet. Nope. Haven't yet. Because of what I just said, it's always nice when somebody says something, even when they say something like, you look so much nicer on TV, or something like that, which that's fine. Chris, when making popcorn, do you use the popcorn button or the recommended 2 minutes and 30 seconds? I don't use the popcorn button. I think I usually go with 4 and then I listen to it. Depends on the popcorn, depends on the size of the bag. But a lot of times we actually have the old school where you put the kernels in, and it's like the Thunderdome, where you put the butter on top so it melts down and everything rotates, kind of like a tornado. We do some old school stuff here. This popcorn is no better than that. The way I just described is old school making it. But for a bag of popcorn in the microwave, usually go about 4.5 minutes, and then just listen. If it doesn't pop for a couple of seconds, then you yank it. It's ready. Cal Crafts. Did you ever get your garden planted? I did. I got it planted Sunday afternoon, just in time for the rain, which has been fantastic. Thank you for asking. James, hair days. Does your coworkers mind? Hair days. Hair days. I'm not sure what you mean, James. Hair days. I don't get it. Sometimes I'm not really clever. So if you want to explain it to me, though, I'll answer it. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Do your coworkers mind? I don't know. Jim, why do we measure pressure in inches sometimes, but when Miss Hurricane comes, we measure it in millibars? Millibars of what and inches of what? Mercury. Inches of mercury is one. Let me think. Well, that's a measure pressure in inches sometimes. Measure it in millibars. Some of it's personal preference, and some of it's just the mechanisms behind what creates. That's a very complicated question. And I'm not completely clear on the why. I know what to do with those measurements, you know what I mean? But as to the etymology of how they came to be, I would have to dig on that. You might have to Google that one, or I can Google it and send you an answer or something. That's a good question, Jim. Good question. Nanette, what did you plant in your garden, and do your babies stay out of it? The babies do, the boys, because I built a little fence. I built a fence, which is scary. I put first row green onions, second row carrots, third row spinach, and fourth row lettuce. And then in the back is one tomato plant that I understand is going to be expanding to 2 or 3 tomato plants, or so I'm told. Rob, I have my own pest business. Bug's going to be bad. Is ever going to stop raining? What does June look like weather-wise? Too early to tell on June. Just is. Anything out past 6-7 days is getting iffy. Bugs, that's a biology question. I have no idea. I think if it's warm and humid most of the summer, which it usually is, bugs will be an issue. Is it ever going to stop raining? Yes. Sorry, I don't have answers for your questions, most of your questions, but I can tell you that neither does anybody else. So we'll see. But you got a good plug-in for your pest business. That's good. Christy, why do they say not to take a bath or shower during a storm? Because of the risk of electrocution. Lightning hits some pipes. Pipes go into your tub and your shower and water and conductors and all that. It's just a better idea to stay away from water during electrical storms. Darren, do you ever watch the weather and say to yourself, this person is an idiot? That's not what's going to happen on another channel, of course, like maybe one in Chicago. No, I don't watch I wouldn't critique really anybody else's forecast, like what, but more the way they deliver their forecast. And a lot of times when I watch, like in bigger markets or whatever, you watch them and it's like, why can't I get a job there? That's, they hired that guy or that woman. Why can't I that little part of your ego that says, I can do better than that. But you know what? You can't because they didn't hire you. No bad feelings. Joanne, does the effect of seeing what these storms do bother you? If it happened right here, and it can, seeing what happened in Oklahoma, and if you were in a helicopter watching your own home and friends' homes going down, what would you do? How would you feel? I'm pretty sure I know your answer. It would have been very devastating. Yeah, it's, the one thing I do get irritated about watching other people do the weather is during storm coverage when somebody shows any hint of excitement about covering them. For us, it's kind of our bread and butter. A lot of us, it's the reason we got into meteorology was because of severe weather. And And even though if on some level it is exciting because that's what we train for, and it's, I get to really show my nuts and bolts here, so to speak. But you never should let any of that excitement bleed over, because the thing I always keep in the back of my head is when you're covering a tornado, what you're covering could actually be destroying somebody's life or literally taking their life. And so, like you said, it can't bother us, at least on the surface, because we have a job to do. We have to cover the storm. But it's always in the back of my head, even with a severe thunderstorm, those winds can maybe not be fatal, but they do a lot of damage, like we saw last night, even in some places around here. Yeah, so it does. It bothers you, but you can't, you just got a job. You have a job to do. So, but never should you act like you're excited. Oh, goody, we have storms today. Maybe do that off air to another meteorologist who understands. It's kind of like the juice that somebody gets from being an EMT or something. It's exciting, but you should not be excited about it, at least outwardly, because you always have to have the perspective and the respect of what's actually happening. My NOAA radier simply says tornado when the alarm goes off. Is there one that says tornado watch or warning, or just wait and listen to what it said? You can always just wait and listen. I'm not sure. I'm sure there would be. I'm not the weather radio expert. I will admit that. I haven't been to one of those programmings for quite a while that JC does. I know they have. If you check on JC's Facebook page, they have one coming up Thursday. I think it's in Clinton. You can email JC directly. He is really good about helping people with the radios. He's actually said, stop by the station, bring your radio, I'll program it. And I've seen him actually do that. He was not joking. It's amazing. Good kid. Good dude. Kara, most memorable wrestling match that I was in or that I saw? Hogan Andre, WrestleMania 3. I wasn't there in person, but I've seen it over and over again. Just the magnitude of the whole 93,000 some people screaming and all that. Jimmy, do you ever make your way to the Bloomington area? Not really. Smells way better than Decatur. Most of the time. Let's be honest. That's not bagging, I think it would be great to meet the guy that we wake up to every morning. Sometimes that sounds just funny. Turn on our TV when we start the day. Well, thanks for watching. First of all, I haven't been in Bloomington it's been a couple of years anyway. I don't make it up there very often. Nice city, though. I like it. Bloomington normal. Dawn. Oh, family. What is the general consensus amongst meteorologists for the summer? It's supposed to be for us a little warmer than average, a little drier than average. Storm predictions, about the same, typical. Swamp drought conditions, a little bit drier than average, hopefully not drought. Hopefully not like last year. Man, I thought that said meth. I do live in Mattoon, That may have been a knock against Mattoon, but hardly the only place around here that has meth issues. But they call it, I've heard it called Methtune. Take that for what you will. Melt, freeze. What do you mean? Like early melting and freezing? I don't think we'll get that cold this summer. Good to hear from you, Dawn. Love family. Tom, sports guru Noah Newman recently found in the newsroom a stuffed toy and shared it on air during a sportscast, claiming it might be yours. Was that the koala bear that was this morning or yesterday you found it? It wasn't mine. I did see it, though. It was a cute little guy. All right, no more questions. That's it. Don't forget to hydrate, kids. This is water. Best thing for you. That's it for this QVA. Thank you for the questions. Sorry this one was so long, but you guys asked some good questions. Stay tuned to this page or Mark Rivera's page if he actually follows through. Come on, Mark. He's going to explain how you can take part in our Google Hangout sometime probably tomorrow afternoon. Those are fun. We want to do more of them, and we need you to play along. So, all right, kids, we'll talk to you later.